Welcome to Make a Path Presents. My name is Ronnie Hayes, and today let's talk The Walking Dead TV show Q&A number 68. Telltale characters in The Walking Dead TV show. Let's get right into this first question because that's what it relates to. Nova Phonics? Okay. Do you think new characters will be created for the show? Do you think in the show there is room for Lee and Clem? Yeah, I do believe they're always going to make, new characters for the show. Some of them are going to take storyline from characters that are in the show and yada yada yada. I don't think they're going to do it a lot because now we're at a point where we're bringing so many comic characters into the show. There's not a lot of room for new characters. And it doesn't make sense to not bring in loved comic characters on a show that's based on the comic just to create new characters to fill in that void. You know what I mean? As far as Lee and Clementine, alright, listen, I know that Skybound did say in a panel that, anything's possible, and it's possible you can see Lee and Clementine in the TV show, but I do want to be very clear about something that a lot of fans get mixed up. The comic universe is owned by Robert Kirkman and his company Skybound, and it's published by Image Comics. The TV show is owned by AMC. I do know Skybound is, I guess, somewhat becoming partners because I don't know how that works because I see their logo appearing at the end. I don't know what that's about. I didn't look into it yet, but I didn't see that before. I do know it is at the end of Fear the Walking Dead because, Robert Kirkman and Skybound are connected on that project. However, Fear the Walking Dead TV show takes place in its own separate universe, not only because it's different characters, essentially, based off of the characters in the comic. It's a different world, they have different stories, not only that, but legally, AMC owns the rights to all of that. That is why, Skybound doesn't make TV show character action figures. That's with AMC through McFarlane Toys. Skybound only sells the Skybound exclusives are only comic figures because they own the comic rights to the comic universe. So therefore, I do not believe that Lee and Clementine, who the rights exist in the comic universe, which is owned by Skybound and Robert Kirkman, I do not believe that they will ever appear in the show in any way, shape, or form unless AMC and Skybound come to some kind of financial deal or sharing rights for those characters. Or if, AMC, I don't know if it's in the contract that AMC would get the rights to all the new coming characters. I don't know how that works specifically, but since Lee and Clementine aren't in the comic, I don't know how that works when they branch off with rights and everything. But because of that, I'm saying I do not believe it's going to be something we're going to see right away. It might, come into play down the line. But again, the legality is the biggest problem. Not only that is now you would have to wedge in, and I think that's the best way to describe it, because it would feel like you're just wedging these characters in, to fit them into the show's world. Because if you show up with Lee and Clementine on the TV show, then what does that mean for their world, their story? I don't know. Does that get mixed up because of what happened in the game if you haven't played the game? I don't know. You let me know what your opinions are down there. All legality aside, if they were to come on the show, how would you want it done? Me personally, and people are going to hate this, but I want them off the show. Don't even leave them in the comic universe. I would not mind seeing Clementine in the comic, I shit you not, but leave him out of the show. Mental Mad Gamer. Will they give Judith her comic death if Carl gets shot in the mid-series premiere and falls crushing her? Judith officially was shot and killed. This has been confirmed multiple times by now. I made a video on it. Judith was shot and killed instantly by the words of Robert Kirkman. Now that I did the research on it, I found multiple, evidence where he says this. But I'm just stating a point. There's a chance she could get crushed, but no, I don't believe they're going to go with such a weak death for baby Judith. Juan Andrews Guerrero. Do you think The Walking Dead show will ever get ahead of the comic book at this pacing? No, because, they're going to do, right now, they're around, let's say, the 80s to issue 100 in the season 6, the end of season 6. And then from there, they're going to be tackling, issues 100 or 101 until, 126. They're going to be tackling those for maybe a couple seasons. right now in the New Beginning, we still basically have, one whole season, depending on how much they rush, within, the New Beginning and the Whisper storyline. And after a few more issues of the comic, we're going to be bringing in even more. So, you figure if The Walking Dead has 3 more seasons before they catch up to the comic, by the time they do those 3 seasons, the comic book is going to come out with 2 more seasons of material. So no, I do not believe at this time they're going to catch up with the pacing. Wolfman Films, you are currently reading the comic book, but you do not want to keep going because you think it will spoil it for you. If that's your choice, that's your choice. You asked my thoughts, but I have to tell you, I went from being, super excited for the TV show from season 1, season 2, and into season 3, halfway through, I started reading the comics. I believe it was during that break, the mid-season break, the mid-season finale. I started reading the comics. From that point on, I have never been more excited for the comic or the show to come on the screen, especially now, knowing, what happens from Negan to All Out War. My excitement is through the roof, and no, I do not feel like it spoils it. And yeah, we nitpick on some of the characters that we love from the comic, but at this time, I'm happy with, some of the remixes, and I'm happy we have 2 different versions of the same world, the same characters. It's, double the awesomeness. So for me, it's a must. For you, just, I would actually read a little bit, read a little bit past where the show is, and then watch the show and see how you feel when it's playing out, Give that a shot. Amstel54. What are your top 3 favorite episodes in no specific order? Listen, I'm doing videos like this. I'm waiting on upgrading some equipment because there's a specific way I want to do it. If that's going to take longer than I want, I will go ahead and do those videos. But there's a certain way I want to do them. You'll see when I do them. But yeah, I'm waiting to upgrade some of my equipment. And as far as software and a green screen setup, I've seen a cheap one that's on sale that's like $150 or $200, but I'm gonna get there. I got a few videos lined up that is awesome. I just need that, or I want that upgrade to, show you the way I'm thinking about how, how I want it done. You know what I mean? Ross Andre Kunana. Whew. Do you think Morgan will die soon in the season finale? Right now, no. Not unless they do something with his character to come back. I feel like there's too much story for him. It's out and open right now. They need to tie it up some. If they do tie it up, yeah, I feel he'll die. If they don't tie it up, he'll continue on. Mr. Jax Z, when will you do the Hot 10 Chicks video? I'm actually scrolling through on the computer to questions, so no, I normally wouldn't have even included that, you shit. No, I'm not going to do a top hot chicks video. I'd have to do a top hot guys video then, and then we'd have to go into other superficial topics. I tell you what, I won't do that, but I'll do, top 3 heroic women from The Walking Dead. I think that would have a lot more substance. I'm going to do that instead. Cian Barrett. Maggie's character in the show doesn't really seem that strong of a leader, leading me to believe even if Glenn meets Lucille, she won't be up to it. However, if Daryl meets Lucille, Carol will become the leader. And you want my thoughts on this? I've answered this multiple times. I understand what you're saying. I don't agree, or I don't see it at all. Not only have they been developing Maggie and setting her up for the leadership position, but they have been doing the complete opposite with Carol. Listen, Carol is a soldier. She's there. She's infantry. She's, she is smart and clever with it, but they're not showing her to be that, upfront, transparent, with the people leader. Maggie is, though. Not only is she training under Deanna, but look at Self-Help, where they had to get shit done. Everyone went off on their own thing. Maggie pulled out a gun, put it on Abraham, and it's like, we're going to get down to business. That is the subtle leadership qualities they're constantly showing for Maggie. So no, I do not agree. I understand you might be a big Carol fan and want her to be the leader of the Hilltop. I don't see that as something that's in Carol's character. Could they turn it around and give it to her? Sure, but it doesn't fit her character, in my opinion, at this time. And again, a lot of people see Carol being efficient at killing and, getting shit done, but the leadership quality to me isn't there. Dominic Wayne, when and how do you think Father Gabriel is going to die? You know what? I would have to say All Out War. When, you know, they utilize Gabriel off and on, they build up his character, they get more of us to fall in love with him. Then during some somber scenes during All Out War, they might be doing a funeral service or some kind of service, and this is at a moment where we're really drawn to Gabriel. He's come a long way, and Negan and the Saviors attack Alexandria, and Father Gabriel stays. He might even fight, but he might even just give comfort to some of the people who are wounded on the battlefield in Alexandria. And let's say that unarmed, you know, he's, you know, helping people that were wounded. Let's say a Savior comes up and murders him, or he even has to fight the Savior, and the Savior ends up, you know, killing him. Let's steal a scene from, like, Saving Private Ryan, where they got into that fight and he slowly gets stabbed to death. Do something like that, but show the fact that, you know, this Savior was cold and calculating, and they took somebody we grew to love, and during this wartime where he's just comforting somebody, he gets murdered in that way. Such a horrible way to go out, but I think it's very, you know, impactful to add during a war scene where Alexandria is getting attacked, sacked, sieged, whatever. Yeah, that's how I would go put him out, at least right now off the top of my head. Michael Balsamo. Hey man, happy holidays. Happy holidays to you guys too. So I've been wondering about the second half of this season, how it should or shouldn't follow the comics in regard to the character deaths. I think it would be naive for the fans to think none of them are going to die in a No Way Out storyline. Your question is, would you prefer if they adapted the deaths straight from the comic or changed them up, either changing the characters or how they... you know what? I prefer whatever works the best for the story. Yes, I do want some comic stuff on the screen, like with Jessie and her family, because they introduced them like the comic, and it feels like it would be natural to play it out like the comic with a different variation, a different twist. But I do want some to stay like the comic, but if they just give us a damn good story, I'm happy with it, whether it's like the comic or whether it's totally different. As long as it's as good as the comic story-wise, I'm game. Alright guys, I gotta make more videos. Put your thoughts and opinions about these topics down in the comment box. If you have different opinions, share them with us, and thumb up other questions so we know what you guys want answered. Surprise! Ending. Subscribe now.